Andrew Cox. Stay motivated and change your socks.
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Now streaming on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we are having a special episode. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? Make sure you go to the website. That's the lostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. If there's any way you can help support us, it would be much appreciated. There is a merchandise tab. You can go in there, you can click on it, you can get you a cool shirt. You can go get you a cool hat. You can get you a mug. They even have hoodies up there. It is a good deal, but when you go in there and purchase something like that, it helps us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. And I want to give a big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project. They're out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about that amazing organization, go to their website. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. Go and try and help them and support them in their mission. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the Marine Corps League out there doing some good stuff. They're in there trying to get their numbers up. So if you're a Marine out there that's gotten out, maybe a FMF a sailor that's gotten out, there's a place for you. It's Marine Corps League. You should go join up, go have fun, go just enjoy your time with others that have been in your situation, been where you have been, and just get that camaraderie back that you so desperately need. But go to mcleague.org. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, I said this was a special episode, and it is truly a special episode. I had an individual on, a retired Marine major. This has been a little while back, but Lee Stuckey is his name. And Lee came on and told an incredible story, and just a story that everybody needs to hear. So go back and check out his story in full. But when he came on, he talked to me about an organization that he is now doing. That organization is called AHERO, and it's a nonprofit organization. It helps veterans, first responders, law enforcement, and they basically have this organization where they bring people together and with same types of backgrounds, and they just have like a weekend getaway where those people can talk, they can get together and have a good time and do some healing. And it's just an incredible thing. And I was lucky enough. He invited me to go along on one of these trips, and we went down to Orange Beach, Alabama, and it's all expenses paid. They paid for everything, and there's a beach house, which was incredible. I mean, right on the beach. You just walk outside, you're in the sand, you're in the water, and there's just so much going on. They teach you how to live right, how to do things the right way throughout the day to set yourself up for success. They sit down and they talk about different ways and organizations that are out there to be able to help people through their problems, whatever those problems may be, and just gets veterans and first responders and law enforcement together because they have this common bond. And it was very interesting to me when I showed up that from day one, everyone's stoic. They don't want to really say anything. They're kind of standoffish. You know how, people like us really are. But by day two, we're already getting together. We're joking. We're having a good time. We're talking about real important things and things that matter to help us get through and cope with life. And then by the end, we're just like best friends. We're just, those guys that, just having a good time together. And already it's only been a day since we left. And man, we're messaging back and forth and having a good time. But they have put together an incredible organization, and it's AHERO. So you can find them on AHERO.com. USA.org. I encourage you to go check them out. Do your research on this organization. Just a fantastic organization. And I want to thank Lee for bringing me on and just letting me go down and see what it is that they're actually doing. And you can't really explain it until you're there and you're in it, and you just, it rejuvenates you and just makes you want to go forward. But I put together something. I interviewed Lee and his staff and everybody that was there, from the staff, and they're going to give their takes on what it is that they see, what it is that their roles and their functions are, and just a quick down and dirty type of video, but I think you're all going to enjoy it. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and put this up there.
Major Lee Stuckey, USMC retired, so did 23 years in the Marine Corps, and been running AHERO for about 16 years as the founder and president for AHERO, which is America's Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors. We've been blessed to bring in thousands and thousands of veterans and first responders and save hundreds from suicide. And over the last 16 years, we've really worked on refining how we do it. We don't want to be a handout, and we want to be a hand up. And we want to make sure that they're getting through whatever they're going through, and ultimately that they know we love them. And there's a lot of organizations out there, nothing wrong with them, but when you go to these events, you're simply going to hunt or fish. And that's what brings them to us, but we want to help them with our 4 pillars, which are physical, financial, emotional, and for me, most importantly, spiritual, and give them a good, healthy foundation in a safe, sober environment for a 4-day event. And a lot of these people, when they show up, haven't been sober in years. Right. And a lot of organizations offer alcohol, and unknowingly with the donation dollars and the donors, those donor dollars go to alcohol to fund veteran organizations to allow them to drink at events.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I do not want to be a part of that. And I don't want to be a part of having donation dollars that the donors think they're going to help someone that are actually hurting them. And so through me and going through my own problems with alcohol and traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder and depression and anxiety and the list, I realized that alcohol is the worst thing you can do for somebody struggling. And it does not help anybody. It doesn't. There's absolutely no positive to alcohol. And so when you introduce alcohol into a job field like a first responder or a military veteran who served, they already have gone through trauma. They're already probably taking pharmaceuticals that the VA gave them. Now you introduce alcohol into the equation. It is not if, it's when something catastrophic will happen.
Right.
And so we remove that. I don't know what everybody's taken. I don't know what their history is. I don't know if they're an alcoholic that's on the wagon that's sober right now. And so when those veterans and first responders come to me, I have to make sure I don't get them off the wagon to where they relapse or slip.
Right.
I want to send them back to their spouse or loved one to make sure they're better than I found them on Thursday. So when we host these 4-day events, they come in on a Thursday, we open it up and say, hey, what are the things you're struggling with? These are the clinicians we have: pain management, lawyers, all these different fields to help you physically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. Throughout the 4-day period, you're going to have a team leader come back and meet with you every day to make sure you're okay and make sure you're working on those things. After the event, they're going to follow up in 2 weeks to make sure you're executing and working through those things. But our whole goal is to let you know that we love you. And maybe you're not going through something.
Right.
Maybe you have a friend that's going through something, and when you come through our event, you're like, oh, I've got a perfect person that needs this help. And you can refer us and bring them in. Or maybe you're going through something a couple years later.
Yeah.
And you remember us and you remember the support that you got here. And so going through our process for 4 days, when you do have an issue with alcohol a year later, you remember us you remember Warrior's Heart, which is the place I send everybody for substance abuse treatment.
Absolutely.
Which is a dual diagnosis facility for post-traumatic stress and alcohol or substance abuse issues. That's when, we plant that seed and you go out and seek that help later.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we create a safe area, and we're very transparent with everything I've been through. I make mistakes and sin every day. I just don't want to repeat that same thing. And so once I realize something in my life is really, really not good and healthy, I want to remove it as quick as possible and not repeat it.
Right.
I mean, every day, as a person who struggles with alcohol, there is an opportunity with thousands of liquor stores around me to reintroduce that to my life. I don't want to do it. And so every day I set myself up with a good, solid plan to get through today to be better for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And that's every single day. And that's with working out and being physically fit and in shape and healthy in what you eat. Everything I put in my mouth and drink, I want to get healthier. Financially, everything I spend my money on and everything I'm doing, I want to make sure it's going to be financially smart to set me up for a better tomorrow. The emotional piece, everything and every person I surround myself with, is this the person I should spend my time with? I only have 24 hours like everybody else.
Right.
Do I want to spend my time with somebody who's going to make me better or somebody who's going to make me worse? And so I control that 24-hour period. And if I find out you're going to make me worse and it's a toxic relationship, I'm going to get you out of my life as quick as possible. And then spiritually, I have to start my day with God. I'm a Christian, and the only reason I'm still alive is because I surrendered my life and I gave up alcohol.
Right.
And once I surrendered my life and I start my day every day putting my spiritual armor on, that prepares me for what I will face. Not maybe face. You will face adversity, if not today, tomorrow.
Right.
So every single morning, I prepare myself for that spiritual warfare. Every single day, I'm ready. And I'm not on my heels. I'm on my toes.
Right.
To face that adversity head on and to make sure I'm prepared to get through it.
Absolutely. Now, you talk a little bit about kind of your morning routine and what you kind of set everybody up for success here.
Absolutely. So starting the morning off with healthy routines, not having your cell phone, not allowing the world to distract you with that device. Because you invite it when you pick it up. You invite the world, you invite chaos, texting, emails, Twitter, whatever the social media is, phone calls, don't touch it. And so every day, starting your day first with God or whatever you believe in, and starting with that spiritual aspect. And then after you start with that spiritual aspect, getting through that and really spending time to put on your armor, then move into the physical part, and just being by yourself, being in your mind, controlling, like, what am I going to do today? What are the things I want to focus on? What are the mistakes I made yesterday? And really, like, we walked on the beach here and we had everybody broken out for 30 minutes. You couldn't talk to anybody, no cell phones. And we just walked the beach and we listened to the waves. And for 30 minutes, what are the things that I want to do to make Lee better today for my community, for my family, and ultimately to glorify him? And then after that, doing a physical aspect. And so for the next hour, after that first hour is spiritual, that second hour is going to be physical. It doesn't have to be, any crazy intense workout, but just something to get your body moving,
Right.
and to have that physical aspect. And as you get through a couple weeks, you can increase a little bit to where you don't get burned out. During New Year's, everybody's like, my New Year's resolution is to get in the gym. That lasts like 4 days. No,
Yep.
like something that's sustainable and something that you're going to enjoy doing, whether it's cycling or swimming or something physical. And then I encourage you to do it with your spouse as well. And then after that, that first 2 hours, you're prepared. And then and only then do I recommend you touching your cell phone and enabling the world to yell at you. I have a really good friend who's a retired 3-star general, and he said, Lee, start your day whispering with God for 2 hours before you enable the world to yell at you through your cell phone. You're ultimately the one that controls that access. They can't talk to you until you open that door. So don't let them until you're prepared.
Yeah, that's powerful too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. And what have you seen running it? You said for 16 years.
Correct.
What have you seen the positives from everyone that's come in and gone through the program?
The positives are we always see a good percentage that carry this stuff forward. And more importantly, they know it's a family and a tribe, and we all need a tribe. We are tribal by nature.
Right.
And the problem with, Google and Siri and AI and everything else is we don't feel like we need anybody else. We can solve our problems by just Googling the answer. We need each other. We need each other for advice. We need each other to get that support. And so really opening them up to people they've never met. When they get here the first day, there's a lot of reserved people that are stoic and don't want to talk. And by the end of it, everyone's family. And by the end of it, it's really neat to see for the last 16 years, people on Facebook that I know we connected 14 years ago that are saying, congratulations on your wedding, congratulations on the birth of your child. That looks like an awesome event, praying for you. They're wearing AHERO hats and they're going through with their families, and I'm watching their family grow.
Right.
But I know that person would have been killed and killed themselves 13 years ago if it hadn't been for the wonderful donors that support what we're doing. And so to watch those people still on Facebook because they're alive, and to know that this person, in my head, I won't say his name, just had a child and got married, and he would have been dead 5 years ago. But I'm watching him grow, have a new career that's extremely successful, and it's because of the support and the love of this family that's called AHERO is the reason he's still alive.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell anybody that might be watching this as we're getting ready to wrap up here?
I encourage you to find that spiritual aspect before you do anything else. And for me, it's God. And to really hit your knees and surrender and say, you have this. Pray every morning, which is the prayer that's so simple. I pray every morning. Give me the ears to listen and the words to speak to glorify you in everything I do. And really mean it. And you'll hear things you would have never heard. You'll be able to articulate and say things you wouldn't have been able to say. And you will truly do everything for him first and then your family. And so kind of prioritizing your life to make sure it's for him first, then your family through him and his guidance, and then everything else, it will work out. And just make sure that we're serving our community in everything we do. That 1 hour at church on Sunday is supposed to recharge your batteries. That's not it. You're not going to get any fruit from that. That's the time you recharge your batteries and get better and fill back up because your tank has been drained. The rest of the week, we're supposed to be disciples and witness and serve our community. And so actually doing the Sunday to Sunday work is extremely important to go out there and actually act like a Christian.
Right.
Or whatever faith you believe in, but to really focus on being just a good person.
Right. Love it. Well,
thank you for being here, AJ. It's been an awesome trip, and I have zero doubt that we save people during this event. And absolutely. Even the ones that aren't coming forth right now, I guarantee in a month or so, we'll see the impact, and somebody will call and say, if it hadn't been for that event, I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's been incredible.
Yeah, well, you're a part of the family now.
Well, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
Real good.
Ain't nobody stopping me.
Thanks for having me. I'm Dave Blossman. I'm Vice President of AHERO. Been that way since the organization's inception in 2009 timeframe. I'm pretty proud plank holder, as they call it, and just been doing good things for good people for the right reasons for a long time, and that's not a bad place to be. And it all started when I got a phone call from a recruiter that was recruiting 2 of my 3 sons to be Marines, and he basically said he'd been going through a hard time, and so hard that he decided he was going to kill himself. And I can recall being taken back by that because I kind of knew him pretty well, and I knew him to be a kind of a fun-loving soul, And He said that, told me the story that basically his mom had saved his life by calling him at the exact time that he was going to pull the trigger. And he asked me if I would help him start something, and here we are 16 years later. That something has been America's Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors, which is, basically a ragtag couple of guys, bunch of guys. In this case, we're all the board members are currently Marines or used to be Marines, and we put on events. We do the fundraising, the planning, and the execution of the events, whether they be primarily hunting and fishing events. And the events are what we call the hook. We call it the warrior hookup because we set the hook.
Yeah.
And the hook is, give them something that they want to go do, something they want to be a part of, without having to know anybody. And we all know that getting into groups and getting real with people is not something everybody wants to do, especially if you're dealing with struggles, life in general. And so we put out there the fishing trip, and we've been very fortunate to have some pretty affluent people who have got some pretty extraordinary sport fishing boats to volunteer and donate their boats to take us fishing. And then we have access to 158,000 acres of terrain up in the central Alabama area.
Right.
And we do the hunts up there, and a lot of volunteer farmers, people that own deer farms and other types of hunting grounds, turkey, ducks, things like that. And so you'd be amazed at what you can accomplish in terms of building a relationship with one or more people on the back deck of a sport fishing yacht, or in the quiet solitude of a tree stand at 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the Montgomery forest, So those relationships are the key to what we do at AHERO. It sounds pretty simple, and guess what? It really is. Trials and tribulations are better dealt with people as opposed to alone.
Right.
And when you're talking to somebody that's dealing with whatever their troubles are, who has had a difficult time sharing those powerful moments, experiences, fears, memories, and losses. In the case of combatants, they've lost a lot of friends.
Right.
They typically, very commonly, will not share a lot of those feelings and those memories with people they love, like spouses and parents and kids and things like that, because there's frequently a lack of commonality, or there's a lot of conflict or struggle that's in that relationship. But when you remove all that stuff and you come with people that you don't necessarily know, but you share a common bond, such as, we all shared military time, or
Right.
we served in law enforcement, or we're firefighters, or whatever. And that common service allows for people to kind of let down their guard a little bit and break down the barriers to communication. And when you break them down, you start to find that those things that aren't easily shared with loved ones become almost like telling what we typically call war stories.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people are telling war stories. They're really getting stuff off their chest that has really created a blockage on a lot of levels. And when those blockages happen and you start to layer in life, like loss of job, or lost a relationship, or there's infidelity, or finances are bad, those layering on top of the already emotional, escalated personality can lead to overdose, and very frequently, very typically in the suicide realm, it's alcohol that gives that final sense of courage or outrage or whatever that emotion is that facilitates, this thing known as self-inflicted gunshot wounds. We're not here at AHERO. We don't really mince words. Let's face it, substances are found in pretty much 100% of our suicides, and the numbers aren't going down.
Right.
22 to 31 a day, depending on which statistics you follow or which statistics you believe. It's still a scourge on Americans, and it affects all ages. So this thing about it being mostly kids is just not true. The Vietnam era suffered tremendous losses to suicide. So getting back to the organization, we're finding fantastic success through relationship building and allowing people to be in a very informal, non-clinical, non-pressure environment where they can get with people that are all of the same kind of mindset, that we really just want to demonstrate our love and concern for others, facilitate that environment, eat some good food, slay some big fish, like somebody I know did today, Mr. AJ, and get to know each other. And then the next thing we do once that happens and we identify those problem areas is, we're very fortunate in the 16 years that we've been doing this, we've spent a lot of time with other organizations. And so bringing resources, specific resources to individual people that have kind of demonstrated or enlightened us with those issues. Well, now, we're out of our realm. We're an event-based organization. We are, we're not the answer, but we might know what the answer is for that particular problem, for that particular veteran or first responder. And so having those connections, it's like, well, me as the veteran, and I'm in a hurt locker, so to speak.
Right.
And I kind of know what I need to do, but I don't know how to do it or who to contact to do it. Well, that's where AHERO really shines, because over the 16 years, we've developed some very powerful relationships with organizations that are very specialized in what they do. For example, addiction, like Warriors Heart in Texas, which we have representation from Warriors Heart here at this event here in Orange Beach, Alabama, with Justin, and he's just been just a fantastic representation of what they do there at Warriors Heart. I think we've sent about 46 veterans and a few first responders to Warriors Heart. We've had 2 relapses, and as far as I know, the other 44 are tracking really well. So that's just kind of an example. Numbers. Yeah, those are really good numbers. And then other resources, we're connected with some equine therapy resources, canine for dog and service dog training. Down here in the Panhandle of Florida, University of West Florida does a great job with their veterans student group. And they have a massive Pensacola Veterans Support Organization network. We call it the PVSON, and that's where representatives of upwards of 50 or 60 organizations show up quarterly. And all we do is stand up for 1 minute, and your time, you get 1 minute to say who you are, what organization you represent, and who you specialize in providing care for.
Right.
And the next person stands up, and so you're taking notes for a full hour or so. Just people were giving their 1 minute presentations, and then the next hour is, hey, let's talk, because I know a vet that needs your services. And we connect.
Right.
And so that's what we do, and it's very effective, when it happens. And the key is, or a key is people letting us know that their loved one is in a situation where they might benefit from coming to see AHERO and spending some time with us. That's really the key. Family members and friends and coworkers. We very frequently get a sign, get a signal that somebody's in need, that somebody could really use something like this, and we have a very low barrier to entry to come to AHERO. If somebody says, hey, my son or daughter could use we're pretty much going to facilitate that. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity, AJ. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And now, just a quick question. What are the things that you see from the beginning of the event to the end of the event, the positives that you see?
Well, there are kind of many. So you can try to prioritize those, right? I guess the biggest one is typically has to do with individuals that feel like they're out of control, and that they're either spinning out of control in kind of in a direction that's going to lead to that could very well likely lead to suicide,
right?
Or that they're not necessarily a suicide candidate, but are self-perpetuating,
right,
or continue to perpetuate whatever the behavior is. And so what we see over and over again is those two categories very frequently in terms of the people that come to us. And then at the end of the 3 or 4 day event with AHERO, and the fact that they've been introduced to other resources, and the fact that they know that they have AHERO and the people they've met at AHERO to communicate with, what we hear is just a lot of gratitude for facilitating a different path. And we like to say we don't have the answers, but we do have the resources, and our goal is essentially to redirect and put you on a different path away from isolation, desperation, and misery and suicide. Let's go a different direction with teamwork and resources and opportunity and options. And so AHERO, on top of the resources, we also have quite a bit of vocational opportunities within the AHERO family where people can get involved in outdoor-oriented vocational opportunities like prescribed burn association and wildfire fighting, things of that nature that our founder has really been on the forefront of developing at AHERO. So, I mean, it's a long-winded way of saying that, in general terms, people go through the AHERO thing, and they express great gratitude for a different pathway.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to share? Or?
We're a 501c3 nonprofit, which means we don't make any profit. just looking at you out there, we raise funds. Up until just a year or two ago, it was all through small donations and a few large donations from some more affluent folks. And in the last couple of years, Aaron, our administrator, Aaron Peterson, has done a wonderful job with AHERO, teaming up with Robin Alcoin, who has also done a wonderful job with AHERO, have been successful in getting some grants. So we have been blessed to receive some funding. And so we've been able to increase the opportunities for veterans and first responders to participate. But we are always limited by our budget. And so, the call to action is support AHERO. Go to AHEROUSA.org, hit the donate button. We have opportunities for people to donate on a monthly basis or a one-time donation. And as all the charities say, $1 matters, $5 matters. This is a grassroots campaign. And any financial donation is definitely going to go to the mission. We have one paid personnel and Erin Peterson, and she certainly is not getting rich with AHERO, I can promise you that. None of the board members are on any kind of paid salary. We do have a wonderful magazine that does require some funding. So I would encourage folks to go to AHEROUSA.org and then scroll down to the bottom and view our now 10, soon to be 11 editions of AHERO magazine. And you get a real feel for what we're doing, who we're doing it for, and how we do it through this thing called relationship building.
Sam Jackson, retired firefighter, Army flight medic, and I'm the resident chef, cook, chief bottle washer. Whatever Lee needs.
Yeah. And now, what do you see in the program? Like, what is the good that you see coming out of it?
Originally, I got in as a fixer. I lived here in the Gulf Coast area. Lee would call. I wasn't real involved. I just made some phone calls, and he needed something. I made it happen, and because of the resources I had and knew. And then I got involved, coming to events, staying at events. I was a firehouse cook before I retired, and I enjoy cooking. And they say the international language of love is food. Everybody likes to eat.
It's true.
So I started coming to volunteer my time to cook. for the weekend breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 people, 200. It didn't matter, whatever he had. The meals that weren't donated or catered, I provided them. And case in point for this particular event tonight, you know, the best compliment a chef can get is silence at the table.
Yeah,
Nobody's talking, everybody's eating.
that's right.
And you watch relationships be formed at the table. It's where everybody, as a fireman, that's where we solve the world's problems.
Right.
We solve our problems. We solve, you know, we think we're armchair quarterbacking and solving everybody's problems, but, you know, we're just shooting the breeze with each other. But everybody solves something in the kitchen. You know, and everybody wants to help. They want to help clean up. They want to do something. Whether you need them to or not, what can I do? What can I do? And you provide somebody a good meal, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And you see these guys come in, combat veterans, stress first responders, challenges with life, substance, whatever the case, whatever got them here. And you see these guys come in and they're hard and they're scared and they don't even know it. And they're clenched jawed and they're shifty eyed and they're not trusting. And by the second day, they fellowship at the table. And, you know, they fellowship with each other. They share a meal and break bread.
Right.
And, you know, they come shake my hand and pat me on the back and say, thank you, you know, appreciate what you did. And I said, man, you do what you do, I do what I do. I'm just able to feed and water you. And that's my therapy. You know, so
Yeah. Very nice.
if you come in hungry and leave full bellied, hey, it's a good day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and some guys, they always want to help do something. What do you need? Man, I just want you to have a good time and enjoy yourself, and, you know, let me worry about the dishes.
Right.
And it never fails. I've got to yell at somebody for loading the dishwasher. And eventually you just let them go because they just want to help.
Yeah.
So, and,
Very cool.
you know, it helps me. This is my therapy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 32 years in public safety. Retired 3. And this is my therapy.
Yeah. Very cool.
It's fun. I'm glad I'm on board.
Absolutely, man. Was there anything else that you would like to say, or?
Well, you know, we had a little conversation tonight. Lee likes to get up towards the end of the weekend and just reiterate the AHERO mission. And I'll echo that. You know, it's just, and part of the thing is just be nice. You know, take what you've learned through AHERO and try to be a better person. Try to help those that may be struggling, and share the AHERO message, and you know, help them be better physically and mentally and spiritually, financially.
Right.
And just be nice.
What you do here?
My name is Robin O'Coin, and I am part of the AHERO staff. What I do for AHERO, kind of a long, illustrious history of almost 3 years, but I've kind of been the right hand to AHERO since I've been a participant of AHERO. So I went through the program in 2022, right after I had retired from the Marine Corps, and as a participant I was hurting pretty bad. I had my own issues, addiction stuff I was trying to work through, which I thought I was good at, and I definitely wasn't. And then probably about 4 to 5 months after AHERO event, I ended up getting married and moving up to Shorter, Alabama, Tuskegee, Alabama, where AHERO's headquarters at.
Right.
And I live about 35 minutes away now from the headquarters building. So whatever you need, you just say it. If it's AHERO related, it's happening. I'm involved. I know about it. So
That's
kind of all-encompassing, right-hand man up there to the headquarters.
And what are some of the things that you get out of helping and assisting with it?
I get purpose back. I had a hard time integrating back into civilian life when I got out. I thought I was good. I thought it was like, yay, freedom, we're back, woo! But it wasn't like that at all. A lot of it set in real quick, specifically depression of trying to find a purpose again, trying to find a routine, thinking you're accountable of yourself when you really aren't. And even just having somebody of the same caliber around helped me get back. But the main thing that AHERO helped me with was just finding the purpose again, giving back to veterans and first responders and law enforcement, because it is such a community that's so unique to us. I've never met you, and I could sit here and tell you anything. I'd be comfortable enough because we share that common bond of being in the Marine Corps, being in the military, going through certain things that only you deal with when you're in that super suit. Nobody else can deal with. And so that has been, this organization has saved me. It saved me for myself, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the big things that you see as people come in, like at the beginning of the event to the end of the event? What are those things and what do you see?
For them, it's a huge eye opener because as a participant, I had no clue what I was going to do. Just go on a fishing trip? No. That's kind of just the golden carrot that gets you here. Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing or hunting? And I was like, fishing? Heck yeah, on a nice boat. Why not? And so that little carrot gets you in. And then for the few days you're here, that real acceptance of wanting to heal starts to kick in. Like, you want to heal. You are around people that are like yourself, struggling, but are not any longer like you, and they have overcome their adversities, which is basically what we're here to show them. So it's helped me in so many ways. Like, I wouldn't be here today if I didn't go on this trip, and I can confidently say that.
Yeah. Wow. What was the last question I was going to ask you? I don't remember. What would you tell any of the listeners that may be looking at coming to participate in this? What would you have to say to them?
You don't hesitate. I think the biggest thing is accountability, and sometimes we lose that because we think we have it under control. The fact of the matter is we don't have anything under the control, even when we are in control. And so I would tell them not to hesitate, and it's so easier said than done, especially ones, that come here that are hurting, like really hurting from getting out of the military, losing a loved one, losing a best friend in the military, suicide, their addictions, any level of addictions, and repurposing yourself, for the rest of your life. Just don't hesitate. You just got to jump in, be open to it. It's a very humbling experience because we don't have the accountability we used to have once you get out. You don't have it. You're on your own.
Very true.
You really are on your own. And like I said, I thought I had it all covered. I thought I was squared away, and I was not. And that's hard for me to admit. It's really difficult. I spent my whole career being a single parent, having a couple relationships here and there, but all in all, I was alone, and I thought I had it, and I didn't. I definitely didn't have it when I got out.
Right.
I definitely did not have it. And I still struggle. Like I struggle daily with my own life things. And so every event that I've attended as a staff member has helped me even more. It's not stuff that we just remember, or it's a general spiel of stuff that we go over. It's all brand new. It's a brand new group. It's a new diversity of military members, law enforcement, first responders. And the things you say from the last group will change to this group because it's all centered on who is here and what they need AHERO for.
Right.
My name is Peterson. I live in Eclectic, Alabama. I am the AHERO house mom for the nonprofit that America's Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors. And I got started about 2 years ago. I met Lee, who would talk to a fly if it would talk back. And my husband came home and says, hey, you might like what they're doing. He talks a lot. And I said, okay, sign me up. So we came out to one of the events, and the rest was history. I have been working with them for 2 years now. I go to all of the events for saltwater fishing. I help coordinate and take care of the lodge events where we do our hunting, bow hunting at the headquarters. And I see probably anywhere from 15 to 40 veterans, depending on how big it is at every single event, and it's pretty special. I love it.
How many events a year?
We try and do about 5 or 6. We try to keep it kind of small because we think that it's super important to be able to connect, and it's really hard to connect with somebody when there's 40. You can meet people and you can see them face to face, but there's not sometimes that real connection, the intimate connection where you can sit down and say, this is my struggle.
Right.
And so when you have 15 or 16 or 20, or I've seen smaller events where we do 10 or 12, and we can sit around a fire pit, where we can sit around the porch, where we can sit at, in the evening time when it's real quiet, and on the couch and just talk about struggles where people just feel like they can open up. It's pretty special.
And then what are the things that you see, like the outcomes throughout the event, like from when a person first gets here to a person leaving?
So that is my absolute favorite part. Somebody was giving their testimony, just talking about what happened and the things that they've gone through and how they've overcome some of those things, and I'm like moved to tears. So people come in, and you usually see a lot of really reserved people, real shy, don't want to talk a whole lot. Hey, I'm Joe. Nice to see you. And then they kind of go off in the corner. And I am the one that is very much like Lee. I will talk to a fly if it would talk back. So, hey, I'm Erin. I'm so glad to have you here. Your name's Joe, right? Okay, I think I remember. And just kind of make you feel at ease. And then hey, have you met Nick? Have you met Bob? Have you met whoever?
Right.
And so I see these people that come in, and I don't want to say they're broken. Some people are broken. But we see these people come in and they are scared. They're not sure what to expect.
Right. And
you see them open up a little bit more, and you see them open up, and then maybe they ask me a question, something real simple, like, hey, is the pool going to be open? If we have a pool, if we're at the saltwater fishing event, is the pool, can we go in that? Yeah, sure. And then a day later, I have somebody downstairs said, I'm a Southern boy, and you told me I was going to get sweet tea. And we have that little joking camaraderie. And next thing you know, people are talking to me about things that have happened. I'm not a veteran. I grew up in an active duty household, but I am not a veteran, so I cannot relate in that respect. But what I can relate to is that everybody has some kind of mom, some kind of family member who you need that connection with. And so while I may not be able to connect with a veteran from a veteran perspective, I can connect with them from a human perspective, from a perspective of somebody who just needs to know that it's okay to be seen, and that the things that you've gone through are okay. There's no judgment. It is what it is. We all have our secrets. We all have our dark past. We all have struggles. What we need to do is talk about it and get it out in the open.
Yeah.
It's too much of a stigma. Too much of a stigma for people to keep it bottled in. I hate that for people that feel like they can't share.
Right.
And it's scary to share. It's scary to share, right?
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes it's scary for me to share some things, but I live with a policy that if I don't share even the littlest things that might help somebody, how will they know it's okay?
Right.
That's important to me.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share? Like if anybody is thinking about possibly trying to do this or anything?
I think if I could speak to the audience right now, I would say that if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like there's no hope, if you feel like it's not worth your time to take the minute to reach out, it's worth it. It's worth it. Lee talked to Light yesterday about how there's no return on investment if we have to bury you. We don't get that time with you anymore. We'd rather take the 15-minute phone call. We'd rather get the call at 3 o'clock in the morning. We'd rather have you show up on our doorstep saying, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm struggling with this. We'd rather have that any day of the week than have to do something where we never see you again. So I would say reach out to AHERO, reach out to your friends, to your family. 1,000,000%, there's always people that will help. And I would say we're here.
All right, we're back here. I've got to say, man, AHERO is out there doing some amazing things. And like that was mentioned before, they are a nonprofit. So they do take donations, things of that nature. So you can check that out. You can go to aherousa.org. Go in there. You can scroll down. You can find where you can donate. But it is an amazing, amazing organization. And I just encourage everybody, go check them out. Go see what it's all about. If you know somebody that's struggling, you know somebody that can benefit from some program like this, please reach out. Go to their website. They have points of contact that you can reach out to. But even if you just reach out to me, that's fine. I'll put you in contact with whoever it needs to be. But go check them out. Amazing, amazing. And to all the staff there, you guys did an amazing job. Thank you for taking me in and letting me see what's going on and just be a part of it for the weekend. It was humbling and I truly, truly appreciate it. All right. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. I know AHERO cares about you. All the veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right. With that, thanks for joining us. Don't forget about AHERO. Stay motivated. Change your socks.